Hello there, Dan the Weatherman here. Hey, welcome to my weather show. This is the global edition, taking a look at the weather for the week across the globe, and we're heading into the season of transition, heading into meteorological autumn, meteorological spring, depending on where you are. The equinox, still several weeks away, but it's when the atmosphere and Mother Nature starts to say, boom, here we go, and you get going. Shifting gears, but still some very active weather to speak of. And of course, just the last several weeks, it's been a wild winter across the northern hemisphere. Polar vortex, very busy, very active, meeting the warm air, creating the jet stream, that powerful river of air in the upper atmosphere, zipping along and creating those deep, damaging depressions that we've seen. Southern hemisphere, you've had some heat and dry as well. There's a bit more this week. The jet stream will continue to be a little fast-moving zone, creating those areas of low pressure, but it just tails back a little bit. You can see that surge of red there. Comes in, but instead of barreling into western parts of Europe, there's high pressure there, so that just more stretches and fades. We'll see some active weather to the southeast of Europe, and down south, you can see the jet stream still further south, but a couple of swirlies going in, tropical cyclones as things get going. But let's get into this first off. Warmth has been a story, cold as well. We've had lots and lots of cold that's been spilling out of eastern parts of Canada down through parts of North America. There'll be one more surge, but as we start to get more warming, we could see a good warm up there to western parts of the US. Temperatures easily 20s and 30s. That cold surge there, but look at all this warmth, warmer than normal there, spreading its way into eastern parts of Europe, right the way all towards parts of central Russia, Siberia as well, as temperatures start to change with, of course, the jet stream. But I've mentioned the polar vortex. This is looking at it. That's, of course, North America. That's Siberia, Asia. That is the polar vortex. Think of it like this big column of cold jelly. Minus 60, minus 70 degrees Celsius. Down below, that is the bottom bit. The bottom bit has been very wobbly and very active this season. But what's interesting, as we go through the course of the change to the equinox, you get daylight. And then you've got warming, and see how the big column that is spinning, it starts to break down. That is the first signs that, of course, that is weakening. But as it does, it's still going to kick out some surges of cold. And where the cold meets the warm, the warmer seas, you know you're going to get some active weather. So where will we get it? First off, to North America. That's the cold, the purple there. Watch what happens. Remember I said we've got the warm coming out of the Pacific, cold there, but instead of it just going boo like that, it starts off cold across parts of North America, from Canada right the way down to the eastern seaboard of the US, but we start getting the surge of warmth coming in, so we could see those 20s and 30s, that orange there, spreading up across from Texas right through the upper plains through the course of the week. At the same time, the green, notice that spreading into parts of Western Europe. Slightly milder weather, but still that cold sitting in places there, but there'll be some real flex of the muscles as far as weather systems go. To North America, the US. Cold there, the blue, the rain, snow line. We've had wetter weather moving into western parts of the US. A big ridge, that allows warmth to spread north. That pushes the warm air in. Notice we're still getting some wet weather, much needed wet weather into the western parts of the US and Canada. Surge of cold there, cold air coming through, deepening low. But look at that southwest flow there. Vroom. That's a sign of spring, perhaps, to central and eastern areas over the week. Now to Europe, we've had high pressure. We've had those blasting depressions, but just shifting gears slightly. You've got a cold zone here where the blue line goes, quite a deep low, a windy, yucky low from the Adriatic. And watch this thing pinwheel through. That's going to go into the Black Sea. That'll be spreading an area of rain and some snow with a cold biting nor'easter right into the southern parts of Ukraine. Some snow with that, spreading all the way north through Ukraine into parts of Russia, turning into quite a deep low. West is quiet. And remember those systems coming in, they are quiet to start with, and then we start to pick up the westerlies from the Atlantic into the north and the west later in the week. Then we head down under, different story. We're losing the summer, we're heading into autumn, but Mother Nature and the tropics don't care. You've had tropical cyclones, Anika, that'll just keep one foot in the warm water and track its way along the northwest coast of Australia. Broome heads up, and that will slowly fade once it eventually meets a westerly later this week, but a lot of rain with that. The tropics are busy, and all that moisture we've seen there to eastern parts of Australia, Brisbane, wettest day in years because of a stuck upper low, a big warm ridge, and it's got nowhere to go but just dump more rain. And there is more rain, unfortunately, to come. As another upper trough comes in, this is rainfall for the entire week. You can pick up that tropical cyclone pretty well as it fades and moves into the interior of Australia. That wet weather there from Brisbane right the way down to Sydney could be a wet one. 50 to over 100 millimetres of rain. It will eventually ease, but with the onshore flow, it keeps things certainly wet for them. That's the weather for now.